what's up? Brent from Blue Water VST. Thanks for joining me today. I just want to share a quick tip on using Rob Papen's Punch, which is a new drum synth slash sampler from Rob Papen, who, in case you don't know, is the guy behind Predator, Albino, Blue, and a number of other absolutely top quality products. He's one of the, in my view, one of the most talented guys working on software instruments in the world, and a hell of a nice guy to boot. Anyway, Punch is a really deep instrument, and as is typical with really well-made instruments, it can be as complex or as simple as you want it to be. But in this video, what I want to show you how to do is just to take different drum parts and process them separately. This is a very useful technique because when you're processing drums, most of you know this, some of you don't. It took me a long time to figure this out, but you want to be able to process the parts individually. So for example, you might want a light reverb on a snare drum, but you might, or you definitely do not want that reverb on a kick drum because it would sound terrible. Now maybe you do if you're doing something experimental, but all told, or in general, it's good to have maximum control over each part. So what we're going to do in this tutorial is just show you how to separate those parts and bring them back together. Now when you go to load Punch, you'll notice that if I come over here, there are a couple different options. You have Punch, regular Punch, and you have Punch Multi. We want to use Punch Multi because this gives us the multi-channel outs. So in the service of this tutorial, I've created this very simple kind of dubstep groove. I'm going to get this out of the way so you can see. Pretty basic. It's just kick drum, snare, and a closed hat. Now, right now, all of this is coming through this first track. I'm going to turn this off. All of this is coming through this first track. And so if, for example, we wanted to apply a reverb or a delay, it would apply to all the sounds that are in there. We don't want that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to create a few more tracks. 1, 2, 3. We're going to come back over to Punch, and we are going to tell it to send these different parts, and the parts are these: this bass drum 2, this snare, oops, excuse me, first snare, this one, snare 1, I think it's this closed hat one. Let's hit play, and well, I was wrong, I thought I had to. So the ones that are being illuminated are the ones that are playing. Now, importantly, see this little button that's illuminated here tells you which synth sound is being displayed. Each one of these, this is in fact not a sample, this is a synth sound. And the accompanying settings and models and so forth are all displayed here. But you have to actually select that particular pad to get the synth settings. Right? So you have to click on it and have this blue dot be illuminated. But we're going to come back here and we're going to select bass drum 1. And you'll see, if you read through the Punch manual, it's unbelievable how many options you have at your disposal on how you can shape these sounds. But say, for example, we have this bass drum 2. This is the one we're playing. Now, to get this out on a different channel, we're going to come over here to Out, and we'll select FX1. This just tells it to go out on this FX1 channel, which I think are stereo outs 3 and 4. And we want to make sure that there are no effects here. Now we're going to come over to this second audio track, and now we want to tell this audio track to start accepting just the bass drum audio from Punch. So we'll go external in. No, we don't want external in. We want Punch Multi. And this is helpful. If you play it, it will actually register the meters. Will show on all of the different channels that are active. So we want out 3 and 4. That's the kick drum. Now you'll hear, we don't hear the kick drum anymore, right? It's now coming into this track. We don't have the monitor on. We're going to turn this on. And if we hit solo here, it's just the kick drum. This is exactly what we want. This is good. And now we're going to come back, and it's basically doing the same thing with the snare. Snare, for example, we have the kick going out on FX1. We want the snare to go out on FX2. And what was that third one? Oh, it's this closed hat, this one. Oops, you know what I did? I screwed up. I changed the bass drum to FX1. This is another lesson that I thought I had learned, but I hadn't. You want to click so that the snare drum is illuminated, and then come over here and go to FX2. So to review, now we have the bass drum is on FX1, snare drum is on FX2, and what was it, this one? Yeah. We want this one on FX3. And now we'll come back and we're going to tell our other two audio tracks to start taking the audio from the snare and the hats respectively. So punch audio, punch multi. And in this case we want 5 and 6. Turn the monitor to in. Now it's getting the snare drum. And for finally we want punch multi, 7 and 8. And so now we have our kick drum here, we have our snare drum here, and we have our, what is this, hats. Except we're not actually hearing this. Oh, I forgot to turn the monitor on. So now we have these parts all divided up. Now why is this cool, you ask? It's cool because if you're running Ableton, if you're running live, for example, and I assume this is the case with other DAWs, but you can come over here to this audio effect rack and start processing these different drum parts in different ways. So for example, we might want a bigger kick sound. We would never want to apply this to the whole kit, but now we're applying it very surgically just to the kick. We open this up and we see we're getting some light compression on that kick. We can modify it so we're getting more. And snare, you know, in dubstep we frequently like to have kind of a out there, far away sound. So what if we came down to snare reverb and put this and now we're applying this just to the snare track. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? A lot more space. And again, you're only applying that now to that snare track. Very useful, and it's very versatile as well. Now for the hats, again, there are different presets in here. You might want just the basic settings, which are designed with processing hats in mind. They'll give you probably some light compression. That turns out to be a little bit loud. And of course, once you start changing the levels, you'll have other modifications you can make. But that's basically it for the quick tip. This instrument is really a lot of fun to use. I haven't even touched on the groove functionality that it has, which is really one of the coolest parts about it. My computer's running really slow, so this interface is going to take a while to load. So I'm going to let you guys go. But yeah, download. I think there's a demo version of Punch. Download it. This thing is so cool. It's so musical. I think you're going to like it a lot. And once you get using it in more of a production setting, you'll see how powerful it is. Anyway, thanks again for joining me. Take care, guys. I'll see you soon.